It is week 6 of the 6-week one-room makeover, and I am so excited to show you guys how my powder room and linen closet turned out. So at the beginning of this challenge, I set a $300 budget, and I was very hopeful that I would be able to do a great makeover on a budget. I also showed you guys the progress I had made and some of the things that I envisioned when I came into this project. I showed you my failed DIY project and also my shopping haul. You've seen kind of the ups and downs that I've gone through with my husband making design decisions and him vetoing some of my ideas and my affordable finds. So today, without further ado, I'm going to show you how it all worked out. So let's get started. So one of the first things that had to go from this powder room is the light fixture. I think this fixture really dates my house and makes it look old. It's great if you're completely into that granny chic and you want all of the old-fashioned items, but I really want to give my room a more modern edge without going overboard. So I decided to replace this fixture. Now initially I wanted to go for a modern brass fixture, and they have a lot of them that are really unique and trendy on Amazon for about $50. However, my husband absolutely vetoed the idea because he did not want to change out one yellow fixture for a more modern yellow fixture. So instead, I found this chrome and white light fixture from Home Depot. I spent about $35 on it. I got this piece on clearance. It's very basic, very transitional, and it's definitely not going to clash with any paint colors that you want to use. So I think this is a great and smart find. Alright, so now let's talk about the power of paint and just the trickery that it can do with your eyes. Alright, so my paint color in the room is initially this kind of tan neutral color. However, when you have those incandescent light bulbs, it really looks super yellow. And actually, I have this paint color in my living room as well. And when the sun starts going down, certain walls, the paint starts looking really pink. So I really wanted to go with a different color. Now, I've always lived in a home with either a tan color or a white wall color, so I decided I really wanted to go for gray and do something different for me. So I went with a mid-tone neutral gray from Sherwin Williams. Now, what I didn't understand at the time about the power of paint is that when the walls were tan, when I was looking at my vanity, it looked more salt and pepper, and I described it earlier at the beginning of this series as more of a salt and pepper look. Now, it had hints of earth tones, which I could see, but to me, to my eye at the time, the predominant color that was coming across was gray. And that's another reason why I wanted to go with a gray neutral paint. However, as soon as I painted the walls gray, all of the earth tones in the granite started really coming forward. And now I'm looking at my granite going, wait a minute, this is really earth tone. So I don't know how I feel about this more earth tone granite going with this gray paint. So that had me freaked out for a while and had me second guessing all of my design choices. Alright, so after I got out of the initial shock of seeing what the paint and looked like with the granite, I decided to just lean into the earth tones and to just move forward and kind of adjust my plan accordingly. The next thing I needed to do was replace the faucet in the bathroom. I didn't like the chrome and white faucet because I thought it was a very dated style, so I did replace it with another chrome faucet that I found at Amazon.com. I spent about $55 for this chrome faucet. It's a very timeless look, and I think it's something that you can use, and it's just really traditional, and it's always going to be in style and sophisticated. So my husband installed the new faucet for me and tested the stopper. I wasn't used to stoppers being this large or having that push stopper, so I thought that was something unique as well, because when we initially unboxed the faucet, I honestly thought that the stopper was meant for a tub and not a sink. So I can see that some technology has changed, and so I'm really glad to have something a little bit more modern and more cutting edge. Okay, so if you guys saw last week's haul video, you already know I selected a round mirror for this space because I wanted it to complement what I thought at the time was more of a salt and pepper countertop. But my husband just hated it, and then he vetoed the mirror. So I told him, well, go ahead and find whatever mirror you want, and he selected this pewter mirror. I was a little bit nervous about it, but we put it up in the space and I think it actually works out. But because the other hardware pieces around the powder room are in chrome, we decided to go ahead and accent the cabinet with these pewter knobs. Okay, so about the hardware. So we removed the old brass hardware from the restroom and I attempted to spray paint it. It did not go well, and unfortunately my husband just got really busy and didn't have a chance to try to correct it. So we wind up using the new oil rub bronze hardware that we purchased as well. So now let's see how it all came together. So it has been one amazing, crazy, up and down 6-week roller coaster towards this powder room makeover. But I am so glad that I took this on as a project, and I'm so happy with how my powder room came together. And the extra bonus is that my husband likes it too. So I will say that taking on this challenge was really rewarding for me because it stretched my creativity and my capability. By nature, I'm more of an analytical person, and so trying to do creative projects, it takes so much more out of me. I can say that I've watched so much HGTV, and I think I kind of take for granted just what it takes to put a look together that looks cohesive and that looks intentional. And there's so many different things to choose from. It can be difficult to just narrow down what you want to do and kind of come up with a plan and then actually go out and source those things. So I can definitely say after working on this project, I have so much more respect for interior designers. The other takeaway for me is that I'm very fortunate to have a husband who is very supportive and who's very handy and who's also very opinionated, because sometimes when he doesn't like things and he vetoes what I'm interested in, it really pushes me or us to find something better. And I think in the end, we usually come out with a much stronger product. I think one of my downfalls as an individual is sometimes I'm very focused on finishing a project or trying to stay on budget. And so I find myself making decisions because I want to finish a project that I will get something because it's there and because it's affordable and I'm trying to make it to the finish line. And sometimes in doing that, I'm not always procuring pieces that I absolutely love. So as I look at the powder room and I'm thinking about the whole debate that we went back and forth over the mirror, I actually think the mirror that he selected works a lot better in this space than the one that I picked. The one that I picked, I was looking at it and I was like, okay, the brown black mirrors are really popular right now and it's within my budget, so this is a no-brainer for me. However, he really just didn't like it, and as I look at what we have here, I think it really goes with some of the more warm tones of this bathroom. So I think in the end, the mirror he selected was stronger than the one that I did. And I think it really makes a statement in this particular room, although I wish it was a slightly different size or even a slightly different shape. But that's neither here or there, because at the end of the day, I have no regrets about this purchase. So now it's time for me to make a confession. I went slightly over budget on this project, and I can't even tell you exactly how much because one of us in this relationship lost the receipt yet again. So my DIY with me spray painting the hinges obviously did not go according to plan, and so we wind up using the hinges that my husband purchased. But when he purchased these hinges, I don't know what he did with the receipt. So he said it came to about $55, and that was for 2 sets of door handles and 2 sets of hinges. The baskets, I did wind up purchasing some different baskets from Amazon, and I paid about $28, and I got 2 sets of those baskets. And then the lights I got for about $35. I spent about $40-ish on the paint, and the faucet was about $55, and I got that off of Amazon, and I believe there was a coupon on it. The mirror was a good $70, and that came from At Home. And of course, I spent about $7 on the cabinet hardware. Because I was getting close to my budget, I decided to just reuse the towel racks and the toilet paper holder rack. And I decided, because the other DIY didn't go well, that I wasn't going to try to paint it. So those are still original to the powder room. So the art, the orchids, and the hand towels and hand soaps were also shopped from Home Items as well, so I didn't have to spend any additional money. So I estimate that I spent about $310 to $320 on this project, and I think that if my husband hadn't gone for a more expensive mirror, or if we hadn't had a DIY issue, we definitely would have been able to complete this project for the $300 that we initially anticipated. Now, that being said, if you watch HGTV and you see any of these renovation home shows, they're always talking about your contingency fund. And if I was to do another project in the future, I would be sure to give myself a 10 to 15% contingency, just because things don't always go well, especially when you're doing a do-it-yourself and you don't have experience in that particular area. But I definitely want to hear from you. Leave a comment in the box below and let me know what you think of my powder room makeover. Now, the 6-week one-room makeover challenge is hosted by Wani of Wani's House, and I'll have a link to her channel in the description box below, as well as a link to the collaboration playlist. Be sure to check out the other fabulous room renovations, because there's some great work out there, and I'm headed over to check them out next. I'm Danielle, the domestic scientist. I am so glad you joined me for today's video. If you like what you saw, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.